All right, what is crack-a-lackin' peeps? It is February 6th, 5 o'clock right now. I'm going to go over my trades for today and show you how everything shaked out. Just to give you guys a little forewarning before we jump into this video, I had a ton of scaling in and scaling out, so I'm not going to cover every single entry because we would be here forever. So essentially what I'm going to do is just show you guys the basic premise of each trade and how they played out. And then I'll show you guys my P&L for today, and we'll get things moving. So first trade of the day, I'm going to go chronologically. So first trade of the day was Dries. Probably the most hated stock out there right now. I'll show you guys what I was looking at prior to this. So what I'm looking at is classic, low float runner. Everyone hates this stock, probably for good reason. It is a pretty trash company. And we had this run last week on Monday, actually. Ran up from the 2s up to the 6s. So a pretty solid run, and then it faded off there. So my thesis in this was that we should get some kind of pop, or if we do get a pop, we're going to get some short covering that's going to ensue. So that's what I was looking for. I didn't know for sure if we were going to get a pop, but I figured if we did, there would be a play there, something to risk off of. And so I was just watching this, eyeing it. I didn't see a solid setup. But I just told myself I'm going to keep my eye on it come Monday. So I got up this morning and I saw it moving in pre-market, and this is when I got a little bit excited. I saw that it actually had some decent volume pre-market. You can't really see on here, but more so than the previous day or the previous day before that. So it had some kind of volume on it, which got me a little bit excited. And the pre-market was actually holding up past this $4 mark, which was resistance on last Friday. So I liked it. I wanted to keep an eye on it. I wanted to see how it reacted at the open, and we got just a beautiful play out of the open. First candle red, snatched up, and then we started building off of that. And so when I saw that, I knew, okay, I'm going to risk off of maybe even like the 420 area, pretty much the low of these pre-markets. So about 420 is where I was going to risk off of, and I'm going to look to take this thing long. And so I got in, scaled in 50 shares at 438 was my entry. So right in here. And I took it for a quick win up to, I scaled in 2 lots of 50. So I was in 100 shares total. And then I scaled out of this bad boy at 447. So literally a 10-cent run that I caught on this, which is pretty pathetic given the fact that it went up to almost 470 right here, and then really pathetic when you look at the fact that it went up to 560 or 570 almost. So yeah, I missed out on a good chunk of this move, actually pretty much all of this move. But you guys got to remember that I am still trying to recover from my losses last week, and like I said in my previous video, that has really messed with my trading, actually, to be honest. Even though the losses were small, it just had me trading a little scared. So I quickly took the win. Yeah, I should have held a little bit longer, but I doubt I would have held through this whole retracement right here. So I still could have caught more of this move and sized into it a little more because I had conviction on it. But I took it for a small win and moved on. And part of the reason I moved on is actually there's been a stock that I've been watching for a long time that was moving simultaneously. And so I was going back and forth between these two trades, and it was getting a little confusing. And so on this candle right here, when I saw it pop and then wick, I took it on the next push. So yeah, kind of a sucker trade, but money was made. So next one, QRVO. This was the stock that I was watching back and forth. If you guys have looked at my other videos, you know I've been trading this stock since I opened my new account. I've been trading this the last 3 days, ever since this run right here. And so I've been really interested in this stock. And so far, it's really just been messing with me quite a bit. I can't really get the move that I'm looking for. I've been on the right side every single time, but it's just such a patience tester. So what happened this morning was I was looking for this thing to open up weak and then pick up pace from there. And so I'm looking at like the 6350s as the place that I would like to enter. And then I wanted to see how it would react off that level. But what I was hoping for is like a red to green move early in the morning, and that's exactly what we got to the T. We opened up. We had this weird flash pre-market. It didn't really, I don't know, it didn't really register that. It was such low volume. But it opened up, dipped down, and then immediately rejected. And when I say the 63.50s, you guys got to remember that this is just like an over-under level. It's not exact. I mean, you can see it drop down to 63.30s. But overall, 63.50 was the level that held. So that's what I'm looking at. It's just how does it react off that number? And we got exactly what I was looking for. It hit this number and then just with such strong momentum ripped off of that. So I got in on this candle. The problem is the stock trades really thin. If you look at the volume, it's pretty low. And so the spread was nasty. My first entry on KeyRVO was 50 shares at 63.85, and so I was looking at this at 63.60, and it filled me. I don't know, it just gave me a really whacked out fill. And so I scaled into this a couple times in through here. Took some partials off up into this move, and I actually held this literally all day. And so this one, I mean, if you can see, this is just a ball squeezer right here. Ripped up, then faded. It looked like it was going to consolidate, and I'm thinking that this consolidation was looking pretty nice, and I was looking for a break of it. We got that break. I scaled more into this. I think at the most I had like 200 shares of this stock. Looking for that run. What I was looking for was I was looking for a test of this high right here. So I was looking for like 64.60s. We're down here at 63.80s. So I was looking for a nice run and possibly higher than that, but that was my level that I was going to start really scaling out of. And we got this run and we couldn't even make it up to this high. And then we just teetered through here all day. I held through this, scaled out some on this, added back down on this. And so, I mean, I played this thing all day. I did pretty well on it. I was never in big size. I think the most I ever had on this was 200 shares. But, you know, I made decent coin on it today. So I was pretty pleased with it, but it was definitely a test of my patience. All in all, a good trade. The thing is, you got to be really careful with these thin stocks. I mean, the spread can just throw you around, and so it can be pretty tough. And especially if you look at just the way the chart looks, like something like this that's super thin versus like a Dries, right? A Dries looks a lot cleaner in the way it trades. I mean, it just pulls and then it rips and pulls and it rips, and the formation is just a lot cleaner. It's a lot easier to read. So you do have to be careful with these stocks. Still watching this one, I think we could, honestly, I could take this thing both ways. I think we could see either a really nice long over this high, and it could break out, kind of like a breakout chart up into like the 66 area, or this thing is going to be a total short. And so I'm open-minded. I could go both ways, honestly. It's really hard to say, so I'm not trying to predict it, but I am keeping it on my radar to let it tell me what it wants to do. So, yeah, anyways, next trade was ETRM. Similar story to Dries, what I was looking for. You know, another low float runner, trash stock, yada, yada. Faded hard on Thursday, kind of perked up on Friday. So I was thinking, you know, if this thing could continue momentum on Monday, you should see some kind of short squeeze. So we got a decent play out of this. My first entry, so I saw it go red to green, pull hard. Well, it didn't actually go green, but you had like this red move and then this pull. And the pull wasn't super strong, but my indication was, okay, well, if it can make a higher low than 725, I'll be interested and I'll take the risk on this trade and just risk off this low or risk close to it. So my first entry on ETRM was 745. Took this bad boy right here at 745. And I was in, let's see, what was I in? Let's say 100 shares. No, I was in 200 shares. So I scaled in at 745 and then I scaled in at 741. So all in this area. So 200 shares. And then I scaled out up in the 760s. So up in here. Again, I mean, you can tell I totally missed the meat of the move. I got suckered on this one. It's kind of been the theme the last few days. I've been trading a bit like a wuss, so this is a good reminder for myself to actually hold these moves because there's a lot more meat on them. I missed out on 40 cents on this thing, so could have been a really good play, but not too shabby. I mean, it definitely followed my thesis, and I played it pretty well with my entry. Just my exit was not preferable. So let's see. My next one was COG, another patience tester. Big gapper. Earning. Actually, was this an earnings play? This was not an earnings play. Yeah, this is just a large gapper. And what I liked about it is it popped and it faded. And so this is, an obvious short. People are piling into this short. They're loving it. And then I was watching in this area, and it was just really it's hard to say. It was just grindy action. It didn't really feel like it wanted to go any lower, and that's hard to describe in a video after the fact. But just the way the tape was playing out and the way the candles were moving, it was just a really grindy chart. And you had this area around the 2330s. So I figured, you know what, if it can stay above this and we can get some kind of break, this could be a decent trade. And so my first entry on COG was 2358. Scaled in 200 shares, 2358 and 2355. Those were my first entries. So right in this area, once I saw it, it kind of broke out of this, and then I was holding the 2340s. And this thing slowly trickled up 50 cents for my entry. I scaled in and out of it, and then I tried playing it again. I figured we were going to break, because we came up here to the 24 level, and we couldn't really get out of it. And then on this one, I got psyched in, and I thought it was going to break out, and it pulled on me a little bit. So I took a small loss on this one. All in all, I think I was green on this name, but not by much. So right idea. Just, I don't know, I thought I was going to have more continuation, honestly, and it didn't really have what I was looking for in it. So sometimes that's how they play out, but no big deal. Next one was... see, what was the next one? Next one's the good old WB. WB, sweet short on this one. Okay, so WB, let's look at this on the daily. Super hot chart. This thing has been just a crazy runner. And we've had some solid continuation off this low at 40, and we're up at 50s. We're up 10 points. Oops. And not a very long period of time. Since December 26th, roughly. So a really solid move on this thing. And then you got this just gnarly push today. And I wasn't looking to short in here. I figured that trade was just a little too obvious. And I just didn't really get the feel that I wanted to pull back there. And so I was going to look for something that was going to be an area that I could risk off of, right? So some kind of top or some kind of level. Originally, I was looking up at this level, at like the 5250s, 53 area. Just didn't make it up there. Didn't really have the strength. That would have been a giant move. But how it actually played out was, we had multiple tops right here. So we had this top the first time, and it pulled and it held the 50-50s roughly. And then it pulled up again and fizzled out. And I watched it here. I didn't really like the action, so I didn't enter it. And then up in here, this is where I got short at the 5111s. Took it 300 shares. Got squeezed a little bit. Took some out here. And I had 100 shares. And then I flattened my position when it broke out at like the 51.23. I think the previous high was 51.22 on this candle, and it broke 23. And I exited that position. And then once I saw it break out and then just instantly crumble, I piled in 400 shares, and I scaled out 200 pretty quickly, like 51.06, covered that loss, and then held 200 down into like the 85s, I think, or so. So down to this level. I exited once I saw it bottoming out right here. Turned out it actually broke down like another 10 cents, but yeah, so those were the trades from Monday, February 6th. Some good, some bad. I think my entries were pretty much on point today, but as you can see, I'm still suffering with my exits. It's just trading pretty poorly with those exits and taking anything I can get, which I know is not the way it should be done, and it's not the way that I typically trade. I would consider myself to be pretty patient with most of my trades. But lately, I've just, been getting it served to me a little bit in that way. So something I'm going to work on come tomorrow is just letting my trades play out. So what I'm going to do is either just go take a walk, read a book, do something while the trades are playing out so I can just take my attention away from them. Because it's way too easy to watch every single tick and just get spooked by like the smallest little movement. And so if you have confidence in your thesis, let it play out, and set your stops and let the trade work for you. So those are my trades for today. It was a green day. I was up significantly more, but I took some losses on a lot of my scales when I was trading QRVO and COG. So like I said, I scaled them through stocks tons of times. So I ended up today only up $85. Not too bad, but I think that the highest I was up like 130 or 140, which for my $2,500 account isn't too bad for a daily profit. Anyways, guys, now I'm just rambling, but I will be back tomorrow with another trade video for you guys. And I hope you guys are getting something from this. All right, take care, guys. Bye.